Yes, science, bitch! Yes, science!
Hello and welcome to my video. Today we're going to be talking about nuclear warheads. I live in North Dakota, where the most common thing you will see are oil sites and farmland. However, along these vast highways of open prairie land, you will occasionally come across a site that looks like this. Surrounded by fences and a cement bottom that leads apparently to somewhere, not to mention the occasional high-guarded military personnel, just makes you wonder, what is this site and what is going on? So I did some research. Since a nuclear fireball can reach temperatures of about 100 million degrees Celsius, I had a few questions about nuclear warheads. What are they? Which country owns nukes? How many are in existence? What can they do? And can you go visit any deactivated nukes? I'll answer all of these questions in this special video. Nukes Explained. According to the Federation of American Scientists, it is estimated that there are approximately 12,700 nuclear warheads in the world today, with approximately 5,977 total warheads in Russia. So they top the list of countries with access to nuclear superpower. As of early 2022, 9 countries across the world possessed roughly 12,700 warheads. So what exactly is a nuclear warhead or nuclear weapon or nuke? A nuclear warhead or nuclear weapon is defined as an explosive device with massive potential to cause catastrophic destruction. Nuclear warheads have a very destructive energy, primarily banking on 3 different types of nuclear reactions: nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, and a combination of the two. Nuclear fission is a reaction in which the nucleus of an atom splits into 2 or more smaller nuclei. The fission process often produces gamma photons and releases a very large amount of energy, even by the energetic standards of radioactive decay. Nuclear fusion reactions power the sun and other stars. In a fusion reaction, 2 light nuclei merge to form a single, heavier nucleus. The process releases energy because the total mass of the resulting single nucleus is less than the mass of the 2 original nuclei. The leftover mass becomes energy. The first ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile silos arrived on the Great Plains in 1959 in Wyoming. Since that time, there have been hundreds of sites constructed all the way from Texas to North Dakota and New Mexico to Montana. The most common sites have been the Minuteman due to its solid fuel technology. The missiles could also be mass-produced. They could be remotely controlled from launch control centers many miles away from the actual silos, allowing sites to be dispersed over a wide geographical area. This map indicates the silo locations, with areas in black being deactivated and red missile fields are still active. Alright, so what if a nuke were released? What then? It really doesn't matter who would start the war. Once one side launches nuclear missiles, the other side will detect it and fire back before impact. Ballistic missiles from U.S. submarines west of Norway start striking Russia after about 10 minutes, and Russia from north of Canada starts hitting the U.S. a few minutes later. The very first strike fry electronics and power grids by creating an electromagnetic pulse of tens of thousands of volts per meter. The next strike target command and control centers and nuclear launch facilities. Land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles take about a half hour to fly from launch to target. Major cities are targeted both because they contain military facilities and it'll stymie the enemy's post-war recovery. The UK and France have nuclear capabilities and are obliged by NATO's Article 5 to defend the US, so Russia hits them too. Firestorms engulf many cities where storm-level winds and the flames igniting anything that can burn, melting glass and even some metals. Each impact creates a fireball about as hot as the core of the sun, followed by a radioactive mushroom cloud. These intense explosions would vaporize people nearby and cause fires and blindness even further away. The fireball expansion would then cause a blast wave that damages buildings and crushing nearby ones. What would the aftermath of a nuclear war look like? Unfortunately, research suggests that explosions, the electromagnetic pulse, and the radioactivity aren't the worst part of a nuclear war. The nuclear winter is what we need to be worried about. A nuclear winter is caused by the black carbon smoke from the nuclear firestorms. The Hiroshima atomic bomb caused such a firestorm, but today's hydrogen bombs are much more powerful. Theoretically, the firestorm that sends plumes of black smoke up into the stratosphere, far above any rain clouds, that would otherwise wash out the smoke, would be heated by sunlight. It would loft it like a hot air balloon up for a decade. This would eventually turn Earth into a freezing cold winter, even during the summer. Farmlands in Kansas cooling easily by 20 degrees centigrade or 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and other regions would cool almost twice as much. A recent scientific paper estimates that over 5 billion people could starve to death, including around 99% of those in the U.S., Europe, Russia, and China, because most black carbon smoke stays in the northern hemisphere where it is produced, and because temperature drops harm agriculture more at high altitudes. Clearly, any kind of nuclear war would be devastating for mankind and the Earth, so why were they made? Today's Minuteman weapon system is the product of almost 60 years of continuous enhancement. The current ICBM force consists of 400 Minuteman III missiles located at the 90th Missile Wing in Wyoming, the 341st Missile Wing in Montana, and the 91st Missile Wing in North Dakota. The significance of nuclear weapons is to deter war because any nuclear war would escalate out of mutual distrust and fear, resulting in mutually assured destruction. This threat of national, if not global, destruction has been a strong motivation for anti-nuclear weapon activism. However, the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, accelerated the development of an atomic bomb in the United States. In the spring of 1942, the decision was made. The objective was to produce a nuclear chain reaction by the end of the year. Minuteman Missile National Historic Site's purpose is to tell the story of Minuteman missiles, nuclear deterrence, and the Cold War. Delta 1 and Delta 9 are striking examples of the alert status of the United States nuclear forces during that time period. These sites, along with the exhibits and the Minuteman Missile Visitor Center, help visitors understand the story of one of the most important eras in both American and world history. Where can I see a deactivated missile silo? The Minuteman Missile National Historic Site is a park that presents an opportunity to reflect on a peaceful prairie that once held the power to destroy the world. Exhibits share the stories of the technology that made it all possible, servicemen and women, citizens near and far who feared the worst, and the call for civil defense and leaders at home and abroad who led the world to the brink and back. Visitor Center is the best place to begin your visit to the park. Exhibits, films, and a bookstore allow visitors to explore the story of the Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missile system and its role in the larger context of the Cold War. The visitor center and park changes days of operation, so please be aware of this when you are making plans and plan accordingly. The summer season is approximately mid-May through mid-October, and the winter season is approximately mid-October through mid-May. The park is not open daily, so you can find more information about the park on their website. All in all, nuclear weapons are clearly a very dangerous option that hopefully will never have to be chosen. The repercussions of such would be catastrophic, but if you are interested in learning more about it, I would start with the Visitor Center in South Dakota. Now to bring an ending to our video. Dr. Robert Oppenheimer was a very famous physicist who played parts in help developing nuclear warheads. He came to regret his participation. Here's a short video emphasizing his opinion.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form, and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.